The human body is something that's fascinated scientists for years. Although science has done a great job at understanding many of the functions, there's still some that have caused confusion. For example, laughter is a pretty hard thing to measure in the scientific world. Even comedians whose whole job centers around laughter have a hard time describing and conveying what it can really mean. Laughter allows people to grow their social awareness, to integrate into a group or to isolate themselves away. It allows someone to release tension, make a positive environment, make new connections, and can even work to heal and greatly impact mental illness. Given that humour is an abstract concept that takes a level of higher learning, it's no wonder then that laughter and its evolutionary reasons for occurrence and mechanisms elude us, and even the most forefront of research scientists even to this day. Without laughter, our ability to socially network would be greatly impaired, but purely as a survival mechanism, proves to have very little value outside of immediate trouble impacts. Another added fact is that the causes behind laughter can range from logical strings, realizations, satire and other complex areas of higher thinking, and creativity that come from many different areas of the brain. Knowing how complex laughter can be in the real world and its causes, it could take decades before scientists crack the code behind the biological mechanisms of laughter. Another mystery that's been linked to ancient civilizations is that of the pineal gland. The pineal gland is something that's interested many people worldwide. It's a small gland that's located near the center of the brain. The job of this gland is to secrete melatonin, which acts as a regulator of the sleep and wake cycle. It's around the size of a pea. The small gland though has been known throughout history. Different civilizations have had their own take on the gland, and what's interesting is that many of them seem to share a similar belief on what the gland actually does. Ancient traditions state the gland allowed you to connect to the physical and spiritual world. Many ancient civilizations show either drawings or artwork depicting the gland. They didn't call it the pineal gland though. Depending on where you look, it goes by different names. It's said that if you're able to lock into this third eye, you gain a higher power. The third eye controls various body functions. It works in harmony with the rest of the body, and allows you to have much more control over things. Some believe the reason it's hidden deep inside the brain is because it has massive importance. It allows you to see things different, to view other worlds, to travel space and even warp time. Ancient legends state that if you're able to control the third eye, you'll unlock abilities that you thought were never possible. Some have even suggested that it happens every so often when we dream. Every so often, individuals may have a dream that feels real, and this could be the third eye releasing chemicals to allow you to see these views. The more in sync you are with this gland, the more you'll be able to view certain things that don't seem possible. Ancient cultures believe there is a very thin line between consciousness and thoughts. The third eye is said to help you in seeing beyond the physical reality. One of the reasons people say that yoga and meditation helps with the third eye is because you're focusing your energy on thoughts. This in turn means you're listening to your thoughts and opening your mind to bigger things. As mentioned, since ancient times the third eye has been known by many different cultures, and what's interesting is some have suggested this is what they're talking about when they spoke of higher powers. It's just we've misinterpreted what they were talking about. Some cultures believe that when we're struggling to find answers, this inner wisdom will guide us. Each culture has its own meaning of the third eye. There's not one answer for what it is. Some have suggested that the third eye is what gives us a sixth sense. When you feel as though someone is looking at you and it turns out they are, this is the third eye working. It's guiding you and helping you when you can't necessarily see what's going on around you. Some have said the Egyptians were one of the first to lock into the third eye. This comes in the form of the Eye of Horus. It's said to help with protection, power and good health. It's said that those who locked onto this would be superior. Interestingly, this matches many of the things that other cultures have said about the third eye. Of course, as of right now, these are just theories. But what's interesting is how many different cultures and ancient cultures across the world talked about this mysterious third eye, As mentioned, even to this day it can be found in art drawings and sculptures. As of right now though, modern science calls this the pineal gland, and state that it has nothing to do with a higher power. Some have said this could all be linked to a higher consciousness. Questions surrounding the human consciousness could very easily be some of the biggest questions in the universe for humanity. What exactly makes us conscious? What separates us, a living entity, with a non-living entity? What allows us to grow, to change, to think, and to play around the environment and the universe itself? These are the questions that have plagued humanity since it first became conscious and self-aware. What is life? Of course, it's pretty impossible for us to know and to truly understand the mechanisms of human consciousness. The human brain is so incredibly complex that it could take hundreds if not thousands of years, even at the rate of technological innovation, before we even get close to understanding the capacity and causes behind every function of human consciousness. In fact, some scientists think it might even be nothing more than misinformation, and that human consciousness is not real, but rather an interpretation of ourselves outside of purely physical phenomenon. In this abstract, we could merely be falsely believing we are conscious, but secretly we have no free will, and everything inside our minds could merely be a product of our universe at the beginning of its conception. Religious and spiritual beliefs directly contradict this theory, and holds that humans contain an almost supernatural powerful consciousness to exist outside of the universe, and to be a product of divine inspiration, even perhaps manifesting control over our bodies via a soul or spirit that lives on forever, and this spirit carries on after our physical bodies pass away. It's obvious that though there may be an incredible amount of time, energy and research into the endeavours of human consciousness, and the biological mechanisms behind it, it's still widely unknown and probably even impossible to measure or to understand. This is something that scientists have taken seriously, and over the years many tests have been carried out. Dr. Christopher Kerr and his team have been studying dreams of patients when they're close to death. Incredibly, the team claim that our loved ones are waiting for us on the other side. It's been documented that when a person is close to death, they tend to have more dreams about loved ones. This means the person is normally happier as they're starting to accept that there may be a chance of seeing them again. So instead of fearing the unknown, they embrace it. It's an interesting way to look at life. For many people, they fear you only get one life, and after you pass away there's nothing. This theory suggests though that we could be reunited with our loved ones. The truth is we don't really understand consciousness, and there are many mysteries about the human body. Another interesting study comes from two leading scientists. They say the human body is a biological computer and the consciousness of a human being is a program that runs by the brain's computer. It's believed that within the human brain there resides around 86 billion brain cells. The soul is something that has made many people put forward different theories. There has always been a debate about the soul of a human, and whether or not it goes on after life. There are those that believe your soul is what's actually keeping you alive, while others suggest the soul is nothing. However, recently researchers think they've found a new truth about the soul. They've put forward the theory the soul doesn't die, it goes back into the universe. Dr. Stuart Hameroff and Sir Roger Penrose have been working on the quantum theory of consciousness. Both of them suggest the soul of a person is in the microtubules of the brain cells. Their theory states that a human being's soul is contained within the cells of the brain in structures that are inside them called microtubules. It sounds confusing, but the doctors think the human brain is just like a biological computer, and the consciousness we experience is run by the computer inside the brain. This means it will continue to exist after the human is gone. Both of them suggest that what humans think of consciousness is the result of the effects of quantum gravity that is situated in the microtubules. Others have similar beliefs in which they think the body is just a portal in which the spirit resides in, and when you pass on, whatever allowed us to be conscious carries on in the universe. So my question to you guys is, what do you make of the pineal gland? And do you think there's any substance to these stories? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.